Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, and I also thank Honorable Kepa for her question. During the period of school closure from April to November last year, teaching was conducted remotely using a variety of methods, including worksheets, educational programs on YLSE channel, radio broadcasts, Zoom, Learning Hub, and other digital platforms. This occurred amidst the challenges of remote learning, such as access to internet, availability of digital devices, connectivity, locality, and reach of students in the remote and very remote areas. Facing these challenges, it was not possible to manage the complete coverage of the syllabus, so realignment of the curriculum became imperative. The ministry, having learned from the experiences of 2020, decided to carry out realignment of the curriculum in both primary and secondary schools. This was carried out systematically, keeping in mind the core body of knowledge is not compromised. This meant a careful look at the continuation of concept knowledge and addressing knowledge gaps as students progress from one level to the next. And I want to thank the Permanent Secretary and her team at Ministry, because they did a very systematic work when they were involved in the curriculum realignment. Mr. Speaker, sir, we had to be mindful that different students were learning at different pace, and the best people to gauge the pace of learning are the teachers. We had meetings with all primary and secondary heads of schools and took them through the process used in curriculum realignment and explained the need for teachers to work closely with the students so that they are aware of their students' learning. Majority of the teachers received completed worksheets on a regular basis to mark, so they were aware of the learning that was taking place. Mr. Speaker, sir, when students returned to school, teachers were given a set of questions that they could use to gauge the learning gaps. Using this, the teachers were able to understand the learning gaps of their students and have designed the lessons to cover these gaps. Mr. Speaker, sir, the decision to have an extra term was to allow time for catch-up and undertake revisions before students progress to the next level. During this time, teachers will carry out some form of assessment and use this to inform teachers to plan their teaching in the new academic year to address knowledge gap. Mr. Speaker, sir, while this is working well, the fact remains science practicals and projects have been compromised. But clearly, this was unavoidable. We have to face the fact that last year was by no means a normal year, and it is pointless to assume that complete learning would take place given the circumstances. This problem is not unique to us in Fiji. All we have to do is look at the global situation to see that this is a global problem. Mr. Speaker, sir, a comprehensive study by UNESCO, UNICEF, and WHO on the state of the global education crisis, a pathway to recovery, states that school closures have affected more than 1.6 billion learners globally. The impact on learning loss has been more significant in younger students from rural and marginalized areas. Mr. Speaker, sir, we must look ahead, learn from the experiences of the past 2 years, and prepare for the future. The ministry continues to build resources that can be used if such situation arises. We have appointed a manager e-learning who has joined ministry this week and will be responsible for creating e-learning resources. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'd like to say that we have been talking to 3 universities to provide extra support to their first-year students when they start tertiary studies. All have agreed and have already designed program to provide that extra support. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.